Welcome back to the Verbal Exchange on this Monday morning following Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Just a quick recap from what we saw last night. More of the same dominance from Golden State. I, I honestly don't know what to say to anybody who was surprised at the way Golden State played at home in these NBA Finals. I mean, it's pretty much par for the course. It's pretty much what I expected. As I'm looking at the highlights from last night, um, I watched on and off in the first half. I watched most of the second half. Um, you get what you get with Golden State when they're in rhythm, when they're hot, when they got the momentum, when they're at home. They can go on a 20-2 run. They can go on a 16-4 run in a matter of 2 or 3 minutes, and they can blow a game wide open. We've seen them do it pretty consistently over the last 2 or 3 seasons. Um, no, I'm not saying the series is over because they have to go back to Cleveland down 2-0. They've been in tough spots. They've been in worse spots. They've been down 3-1 going back to Golden State. You know, so yeah, it was two tough losses by Cleveland. Golden State is looking extremely well. Everybody's playing good basketball. Um, and I do question where the production is going to come from in terms of the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm looking at the box score right now, and LeBron James is LeBron James. He gave you 39 minutes, 29 points. He shot 12 for 18 from the field. He only attempted three-pointers. He made one of them. He was 4 for 5 from the line. So automatically what's jumping out to me is this. He's got to get to the line more. If his shot's in rhythm, he's got to put up more three-pointers. But he gave you 11 rebounds, 14 assists, 4 turnovers, 3 steals, a block. And he was still minus 11 for the game. That screams to me that regardless of what LeBron is doing for the Cavaliers offensively and defensively, he is being simply overwhelmed by this Golden State team. Kevin Love gave you 27 points on 30 minutes, 12 for 23 from the field. He was 2 for 7 from three-point range. But in terms of production, he didn't have a bad game. He only gave you 7 boards. He didn't give you any assists. So there's definitely room for improvement there. But I'll take 27. I'll take 27 and 7 from Kevin Love. Tristan Thompson, bum. Dude's a bum. I don't know what else you want me to say to you about it. 21 minutes, 8 points, 4 for 7 from the field. 4 rebounds total from your center, power forward, however you want to look at him. This is the guy, right, wrong, or indifferent, that LeBron James went out on a limb for. This is the guy that LeBron James campaigned to get more money. This is the guy that signed the big contract, and then you give me 8 points, you give me 4 boards, and you were negative 18 plus minus. No blocks, 2 steals, basically nothing. Can't win like that. It's not going to happen. I'm watching highlights right now. Festus Ezeli grabbing offensive boards, getting put back dunks. Tristan Thompson's not boxing out, losing track of his defender, letting guys getting in and out of the paint, grabbing offensive rebounds all over him. He's not only is he a non-factor, he's a detriment. He's out there helping Golden State. I'm really down on Tristan Thompson right now. He's not one of my favorite players at all. J.R. Smith again didn't even show up. You know, it's got to be hard. It's got to be hard for a shooter to completely change his game and become a defensive player, a defensive first player. You know, everybody talks about how they came out and they wanted to make J.R. Smith that lockdown perimeter defender. And he does that. He's doing his job. But when you look at the box score and he gave you 13 minutes, 0 points, 0 for 2 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3-point range, 2 rebounds total, 1 turnover, no assists, no steals, no blocks, 4 fouls. He was in foul trouble for most of the game. He really couldn't get into a rhythm. Negative 18 plus minus. You might as well stay home. You might as well stay home. Because in terms of a production factor, in terms of actually helping your team, you're helping Golden State more than you're helping Cleveland at this point. That's tough. No way Cleveland can go into Golden State with Tristan Thompson and J.R. Smith playing the way that they're playing and expect to do anything but lose by 20. How can you expect – these are key guys for the Cleveland Cavaliers. If they don't show up, and you're talking about probably one of the best teams that have ever been assembled in the history of the league, and 2 of your key guys don't even show up, there should be no surprise. There should be no surprise. There should be no head scratching. You should be able to look at this box score without even seeing any highlights and say, oh, yeah, I expect them to get blowed out. Boston would have blew them out if J.R. Smith and Tristan Thompson would have gave you this in terms of production. Toronto would have blew them out. If you look at the box score, you see J.R. Smith gave you 4 fouls in 13 minutes with no points. And Tristan Thompson couldn't even break double-digit rebounds. And that's really all he does effectively is rebound the basketball. And he gave you 4 total for the game in 21 minutes. You look at the bench, Channing Frye, Richard Jefferson, Kyle Korver, Darren Williams, Iman Shumpert. Nobody really jumps off the page. Derek Williams, Dante Jones, James Jones. These guys, their plus minus isn't bad. But Kyle Korver and Iman Shumpert really played considerable minutes due to the foul trouble that J.R. Smith was in early. Kyle Korver gave you 23 minutes, 8 points, 2 for 4 shooting, 1 for 3 from downtown. Virtually nothing else in terms of production. Iman Shumpert gave you 21 minutes, 6 points, 1 for 6 shooting. He hit 4 free throws, virtually nothing else in terms of production. 4 rebounds. Iman Shumpert came off the bench and gave you just as many rebounds as your starting center in Tristan Thompson. Something has to change. Something has to change. Going back to Cleveland down 2, by no means is the series over. We've seen Cleveland come down. We've seen Cleveland come back from bigger deficits. We've seen them with their backs up against the wall. Just last season they were down 3-1. They came back and won a championship. So, by no means do I think it's over. I don't think it looks good. My original prediction was Cleveland in 7. I don't know if I can continue to stand by that. I will, because that's what I said before the series started. So yeah, I'm on record as saying that Cleveland was going to win in 7. That's what my heart's saying. My mind is telling me that this thing probably is going to be over. This thing might be over. Cleveland might get 1. I could easily see Cleveland getting 1 and then losing 2. I can see that. I can see this series being over by next week. Golden State, they on a roll right now. There's really nothing else to be said about Golden State. Everybody's hitting shots. Kevin Durant played 40 minutes. He gave you 33 points. He shot 13 of 22. He was 50% from downtown. He went 4 from 8 for 3-point range. He only got to the line 3 times. Didn't matter. He's not really attacking the basket because he doesn't have to attack the basket. His shot is falling from range. He's getting his bucket wherever he wants to get his bucket. He gave you 13 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 turnovers, 3 steals, and 5 blocks. He was efficient. He's scoring from wherever. He's dominating the game. He's playing both ends of the floor. You know what I'm saying? And he was 21 plus minus. His 5 blocks His 5 blocks is 5 times the number of blocks that Cleveland put up because only one person on the Cleveland Cavaliers recorded a block in the whole game, and that was LeBron James. LeBron recorded 1 block. Nobody else on the team, nobody else on the Cleveland Cavaliers recorded a block. Kevin Durant had 5 by himself. What do you expect? What do you expect when you're not producing and you're on the road and you're playing the best team assembled probably since, I don't know, the Celtics from like the 80s or 70s when they had 4 or 5 All-Stars and there was only 6 teams in the league? I mean, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get what people expect. Draymond Green, and I talked about this last week. I said if Draymond Green comes out and he has an efficient basketball game, Cleveland doesn't really stand a chance. Draymond played 24 minutes. He gave you 12 points. He shot 50%. He was 50% from deep. He shot 3 for 6. You know what I'm saying? He gave you 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 turnovers, a steal. He was plus 14. Draymond doesn't have to stand out. He doesn't have to dominate the box score everywhere. Just be efficient. Just give your team good minutes, which is what Tristan Thompson and J.R. Smith and Iman Shumpert and co. can't do. They haven't done it, and that's why they're getting blown out. LeBron James is doing his job. Kevin Love is even doing his job. Kyrie didn't shoot well, right? But Kyrie he's giving you good minutes. Nobody else can say that for Cleveland. The list goes on in terms of Golden State. Zaza Pachulia, he's giving you good minutes. He's not coming in and making bad plays. Again, he's not dominating the box score in any one area. He's plus 13, plus minus, because he's just riding a wave. He's just out there not making mistakes. You know what I'm saying? No steals, not really doing anything crazy with the rebounds, but he's not turning the ball over a ton. He's playing stiff defense. He's got his body in the right place. He's making the right passes. He's boxing out. He's closing out on defenders. He's giving your guys, he's spelling your guys when they need breaks, when they need rest. He's going in and he's not becoming an area where Cleveland can just attack and just take advantage. He's giving you good minutes. Klay Thompson is the deciding factor. I think out of anybody else on that roster, if Klay Thompson shows up and plays at the level that he's capable, because we're talking about an all-star here, people. Again, in the same role as J.R. Smith, you got so much offensive firepower. You only got 1 ball. You only got X amount of offensive sets that you can run. Somebody's got to take a diminished role. And this season, a large part of the season, especially in the playoffs, has been Klay Thompson. But still, he gave you 37 minutes. 37 minutes, 22 points on 8 for 12 shooting. It doesn't get any more efficient than that. He shot 66% from the field to lead the team in shooting field goal percentage. 4 for 7 from deep, 57%. 2 for 3 from the line. He gave you 7 rebounds and assists, 2 turnovers. He was plus 24. He did his job. And when he shows up, I think game 1, he was 3 for 16 or something like that. Awful night. Awful night shooting. And Cleveland couldn't capitalize because Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant and Steph Curry and others were just so in rhythm. They were playing so well that Klay Thompson could have an off night and they still won, by double-digit points. Just looking down the list, Andre Iguodala gave you 28 strong minutes. Didn't shoot well, but he showed up in other places. He gave you 5 assists. He only turned the ball over 1 time. He gave you 4 rebounds. JaVale McGee didn't really do a whole lot. Wasn't really a factor in the game. Still gave you 3 boards. 3 boards in 2 minutes. 3 boards in 2 minutes. Hardly even played. Really only saw the floor for a hot second. And damn near outproduced Tristan Thompson in 2 minutes. Go figure. Sean Livingston, double-digit points, effective shooting. Didn't really stuff the stat sheet in any way. But if you're watching the games, when Sean Livingston is on the floor, He is a benefit to that team. He is a benefit to that team. He gives you strong minutes. Now, there was a point when Shaun Livingston was on the floor and Cleveland made their run in the third quarter. Cleveland made their run in the third. Steph was out. Durant was out for some of that time. So Shaun Livingston's plus minus reflects that. He had a negative 10 plus minus. But in no way does that reflect the impact that he had on the game. Shaun Livingston played well, especially compared to Cleveland's bench. You got 10 points on 4 for 8 shooting from Ian Clark. A lot of that was in garbage time. But when you got people coming in off the bench in garbage time or late in games and they're actually extending leads, that is a morale killer. That is a morale killer for David West to come in and give you productive minutes. James McAdoo is getting off the bench. Matt Barnes is getting off the bench. Patrick McCaw is getting off the bench. And these guys are maintaining leads and in some ways extending leads. You know, that just, it keeps the crowd buzzing. You know, your starters are sitting on the bench. They're fresh. They're already looking forward to game 3. You know, they're boosting their guys up. The arena's rocking. And Cleveland is just taking bomb after bomb after bomb. And you know they can't wait to get off the floor. You know LeBron James has to be feeling sick, you know, after you literally, I mean, if you saw him after the game, like I said, he played 39 minutes. The only person that played more minutes was Kyrie, who played 40. You know, these guys are completely gassed. Not only are they completely gassed, but they're down 20, and there's nothing they can do to change the outcome of the game. There's nothing that they can do to change the outlook of the game. You know, down 20 and you gave it everything you got, and you're looking around, and who are you going to get help from? Tristan Thompson? Tristan freaking Thompson? Who gave you 4 boards in 20 minutes? 4 boards in 20 minutes. And didn't even play the game in foul trouble. You know, he just got outplayed everywhere. His matchup destroyed him. This is who we got. Cleveland fans, everybody that's screaming defend the land. Tristan Thompson has got to be your guy. J.R. Smith has got to be your guy. These guys are making a lot of money, and they are getting thoroughly outplayed. Thoroughly outplayed. So, Golden State 2-0 lead. 132-113. Rout. That's what Janie McCauley is saying this morning after that game. A rout. And it was. It was indeed. Again, I have to say, no, by no means is the series over. By no means is the series over. I'm not willing to say that Cleveland is dead in the water right now. They got games to play at home. So far, this is par for the course. You win at home, protect home court, and if they do that, we'll see what happens in Game 5, Game 6. We'll see if they can make adjustments. We'll see if they can go into Golden State, because they at one point they had that game to within 6 points, 8 points. You know, they had a little bit of momentum going. We know that they can win in Golden State. We've seen them do it before. I can't say it's over. I can't say it's over. I feel like it is. My brain is telling me this thing, you know, these guys are too loaded. They got 4 All-Stars. They have a solid bench. You know, LeBron is not getting consistent help from these guys, regardless of how much money they've been paid, regardless of what they did last year, regardless of what we know they're capable of doing on any given night. If you're not showing up every game and playing the way Golden State has played, then we can't sit here talking about Cleveland winning the series. We just can't. So we'll see. We'll see what kind of game Golden State brings in Cleveland. We'll see We'll see what kind of momentum they have playing in Cleveland. Uh, it's just it is what it is, folks. It is what it is. We can't blame Cleveland. We can't blame LeBron for that loss. We can't blame Kevin Love for that loss. Kyrie didn't have a great game, but I'm not even blaming Kyrie for that loss. Nobody else is showing up. Nobody else is showing up. And if Cleveland wants to have any type of shot, they need 5 or 6 or 7 players to have great games on any given night. LeBron has to be LeBron. Kevin has to be Kevin. And Kyrie has to be Kyrie. And you need your bench to show up. And you need your role players, Tristan Thompson, J.R. Smith, Kyle Korver, to have big games in order for you to slow these guys down offensively. If you can't score with them, you can't beat them. They put up 132 points last night. They have to get cold, Golden State. Golden State can't knock down. They can't put up that many points because Cleveland can't match that. They just can't. It is what it is. Game 3 coming up. When is Game 3? Game 3 Thursday? I think Game 3 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Game 3 is Wednesday, 9 p.m. at Cleveland, of course. So we'll see then. We'll see what Cleveland shows up with. I'll be interested to see what LeBron says to the media. I did not catch his post-game press conference, but I'm about to check that out right now. I want to see what he says, see where his head is at. I don't think he's discouraged. I know that he knows that they got a really great chance to take both games at home, games 3 and 4. So we'll see. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. Like I said, this thing is not over. Going back to Cleveland down 2-0. We talking about LeBron James here. He's the greatest player in the world. Even though he is aging, he's still the greatest player in the world. It might be time to start thinking about that torch getting passed to Kevin Durant. Regardless of how you feel about the decision he made, going to Golden State and all that, that's a topic. That's another discussion. We'll get to that another time. But the way it's looking right now, this finals performance, if he keeps up this kind of production, if he continues to put up these numbers, he's going to be Finals MVP. He's going to have an NBA championship on his resume. And history's going to tell the story. There's been a lot of guys that did a lot of unsavory things on their way to rings, but really all we remember is the rings. That's all we'll remember is the rings. So he could be on his way to making his case, for being that first ballot, one of the greatest to ever do it, up there in that upper echelon, top tier of greatest players to play this game of all time. But right now, LeBron is still the man. This is the Verbal Exchange. Like I said, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Definitely looking forward to Game 3. We got segments coming up with Quinn. We're going to do Quinn's Corner again later on today. And I'm going to get the 3 wise men on to get their thoughts on the game and what we're looking at going back to Cleveland. Anyway, people, this is the Verbal Exchange. I'm signing off. Peace.